How
A
you guys
lot of
doing?
interceptions by the secondary day. I know it's the first day, but do you think this defense is built to have more takeaways from their back end this year?
Yeah, I think so. It's one of the things that we preach. We didn't do a great job at creating turnovers last year, so it's definitely placing a lot of emphasis on getting the ball and creating some more opportunities for our offense. With the weapons that those guys have. For us, it's all about getting the ball. If we can get the ball, we feel like we can be a pretty good group.
Guys, next up, Brandon Cristal, followed by Mike Kliss. Brandon, go ahead.
Kareem, did you feel any ill effects after your COVID diagnosis when you got back and really started pushing hard, or when you got here and as you're getting back on the field?
No, once I got here, I was fine. Initially getting back into the groove of things after my initially getting diagnosed, it's kind of tough, just trying to get over pretty much what I went through, just with being, tired and, not really being able to breathe deep and stuff like that. But it took me a couple of weeks to kind of get back in the swing of things with my training now. But right before I had to report here, I kind of was back to 100%.
Next up, Mike Kliss, followed by Andrew Mason. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, Kareem, we know, the defense is pretty much ready to hit the ground running with all the veterans, but we're curious about the offense with all the young players they got. They look pretty efficient for day one. Have they looked pretty good to you?
Yeah. I think they did a lot of good things today. For those guys to be so young, they have a ton of talent on their side. They look good today. They made a lot of plays. Drew Mason threw some good balls. I know Cortland's going to be Cortland. Saw some good stuff from Jerry, also by KJ and Deshaun and a few other guys. So those guys are explosive. Football is something they've been doing ever since they were kids, since they were real young. So I expect for those guys to come out and compete at a high level every day as well. And they did some great things today as well.
Next up, Andrew Mason, followed by Eric Goodman. Andrew, go ahead.
Hey, Kareem, obviously no fans at camp this year. In what ways is it going to be affected in terms of intensity and just getting up for practice without a couple of thousand people on the hillside?
I think we have to find some other ways to kind of get ourselves going. I don't think it'll affect us as much. This is, we're professional athletes, whether it's fans or not. We have to be ready to come out and get our work done as efficient as we can. So for us, we just got to continue to come out and be consistent in what we do day in and day out, whether it's fans or not.
Next up, Eric, followed by Troy. Go ahead, Eric.
Watching Jerry Jeudy on the field and the way that he runs routes, how difficult is he going to be for opposing defensive backs? And does his route running remind you of anyone you've played against?
I think it'll be very difficult because he has this unorthodox way of running routes. We was kind of talking about it today. He can get in and out of his breaks, better than anyone I've ever seen before. For him to be a guy, to be a rookie, his tempo and his routes, the way he can change pace, the way he sells things, is very rare. It's definitely going to be a challenge for opposing defenses, other guys in the secondary. For us, getting a chance to see him every day, it's definitely going to help us because, it's another guy that we see twice a year that kind of puts us in the mind of him in terms of getting in and out of his breaks and running his routes. So for us to be able to see him, on a day-to-day basis, definitely going to help us. But definitely opposing defenses he's going to pose a challenge, for some other defenses.
Next up, Troy, followed by Arnie.
Kareem, good to see you. I'm glad you recovered. You look well, man. So I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
John and we talked, I guess, about a week ago or so that the defense may have to carry the offense that first month because of no preseason games. Can this defense be elite in your mind, and why? I
think we can. I think we have the veteran guys on this defense that can, be great leaders. And not only that, I think we have the talent to it at every level. Adding Jarrell Casey along with Shelby Harris, and we got those two outside backers, Chubb and Vaughn, and also Jerry, and then you got Todd and AJ. Then our secondary, we got some guys that can be great leaders as well, in the addition of AJ and getting Bryce back. So I think at every level we have veteran guys that knows what it takes, that's played a lot of ball. And I think, we'll definitely be ready and up for the task. But I think the offense will be fine. They also have some veteran guys. They're young, but they got some guys that played a lot of ball. And those guys are as competitive as anyone, in that locker room. So I think they'll want to go out and they'll want to do what they, what they're expected to do as well. So as far as us having to carry those guys, I don't think we'll have to. I think they'll come out and they'll perform just well.
Next up, Arnie Stapleton, and we got time for a few more after that. Go ahead, Arnie.
Hey, Kareem, two-parter. One, this was the first time your whole team was together on the field for full practice. Did it feel any different today where you kind of jacked up like a first day of camp, even though you guys have been ramping up? And then secondly, I'm wondering if you think Justin Simmons has that mental makeup that will allow him to play on another kind of one-year bet on himself deal, because with COVID and everything, he wasn't able to get the long-term extension that he was hoping for in the offseason.
It didn't feel any different. We've been together now for a couple of weeks, so it didn't feel any different. Obviously, this technically being the first day of camp, obviously, and getting a chance to do some 7-on and, some team stuff. In that aspect, a little different, but like I said, we've been together for a couple of weeks now, so it didn't feel any different. And as far as Justin, man, I have total confidence in Justin and him being able to go out and perform, just as good or better than he performed last year. He's that type of player, mentally and physically. So definitely looking for him to do some great things this year. And, when it comes that time to revisit that process as far as him being a free agent or signing a long-term deal here, I think, it'll be great, if he can get it done. But at the end of the day, he has to do what's best for him when that time comes. But I have no doubt that he'll definitely go out and, do exactly what he did last year, or if not better.
Last two, Kyle Newman and Mike Kliss. Kyle, go ahead.
Hey, Kareem. So follow up on Justin Simmons. Going into the second year here in Vic's system, how are you two specifically looking to improve just your relationship, communication on the back end, and, being the quarterbacks of the secondary back there together?
Definitely we want to improve our communication. Going into year two, being in this scheme, very versatile scheme for us to quarterback it and put guys in the right position. And not only that, just kind of expand, in ourselves in terms of knowing where the help is, knowing where we can kind of take some risk and kind of, jump some throws and make some plays. Like I said, it's a very versatile defense. And like I said, year two, so those are things that we're starting to learn now. We know this defense and we know the calls that we need to make. Now it's just all about, just kind of learning where we can probably take some risks or jump some throws, or where we can go steal some passes or help out and whenever we're free.
Last one, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, Kareem, I know Jerry Jeudy wasn't going up against your number one defense today, but, we got to see him for the first time, and it was quite impressive. What's your scouting report on him?
I think he did some great things today. He ran some hell of a routes. I think he's that type of player. I've had a chance to watch him, since he was a freshman. Obviously, with him going to my alma mater, it's just obviously one of the teams that I watch every Saturday. So just getting a chance to watch him throughout the last couple of years and see him grow as a player, and to now have him now as a teammate, and it's exciting. But I think he did some great things today. Caught a few balls, but it'd just be interesting to see him progress day to day and to see how he continues to keep up that pace throughout camp and roll into that first game and to be a threat for some other defenses.